She goes on to say, I feel it's important to determine whether this individual deserves love beyond the ultimate natural form. I don't even know what that is. Yeah, I don't even know what that is. That might be some woo-woo kind of stuff. The ultimate natural form, where you go beyond basic love. And again, the whole definitions things that I brought up earlier, beyond basic love, I don't know what that is. Where you go beyond basic love and help your friend who has some toxic behavior, possibly at the cost of your own safety. So I'm not sure what these terms mean. I don't think I need to, though. What I would ask you, dear listener, fellow stuck knot, why would you ever put your own safety at risk? And not just your physical well-being, but I mean like your emotional safety as well. And sometimes we have to feel unsafe to grow. True, absolutely. But situations like this where we're compromising our values, that's different. Where we're potentially compromising our healthy boundaries, that's different than challenging yourself, feeling some defensive state stuff, but growing from it, that's different. This sounds like we're sacrificing our values, we're sacrificing our healthy boundaries in order to help somebody else who may not belong in our life. That's different. Going beyond basic love, I mean, to me, what comes to my mind is codependency. And that might be one of those words that's way overused as well. But basically what I mean is that codependency is, the way I put it is, if you're not okay, I'm not okay. I mean, that's kind of like my one-liner, my elevator pitch for what codependency is if you're not okay, I'm not okay. But we have to be okay. We have to be okay even if other people are not okay, generally. In general, you put yourself first, then others. And so, safety might be one of those lines. If you're sacrificing your safety, your healthy boundaries, your values, that might be one of those lines. If somebody's lying to you and your value is that you're not okay with being lied to, that might be one of those lines where you start to say, you know what, this isn't working out for me. Friend, relationship, whatever it is. I highly recommend everybody, don't sacrifice your own personal values. Your values, like that could be a line in the sand right there, is I expect to be told the truth. That doesn't mean that people need to tell you their secrets. But when things pertain to you, you have a right to the truth. In general. And, so when someone's lying, that crosses that line in the sand. This isn't about what someone's allowed to do. They make their own choices. This is more about what you will allow into your life. This is about what you will put up with. This is about the decisions that you make for yourself. People will make their own choices. That's out of your control. That's out of your hands. When they make their choices, the response that you give to it, that's under your control. More or less, hopefully more and more, especially as you find more safety and have access to your safety state, you will have a greater range of possible responses to people's choices, which will look like more control over yourself, at least. Not over the situation. Christine from South Africa finishes, or whether it's more important to recognize their level of toxicity and slowly disconnect from them to value your own security and self-development. I would always value your own security and self-development. If you want to be able to help people, you have to come from your own security and self-development. We can only give to others like the best we have of ourselves. And if we're sacrificing that for others, we're not really giving them anything. We're actually enabling them to stay the way they are and depriving ourselves of opportunities to grow. But of course, this is very situation dependent. What I would worry about is not someone's level of toxicity, but focus on their behaviors. What are they doing or not doing? What is the true impact on you? Does that cross your values or not? Those kind of things, specific things, not toxicity, whatever that means. Otherwise, it's like you're rating their personality or you're judging it and then giving it a rating. Instead, just focus on the behavior. And there might be some behaviors that are zero tolerance. Being cheated on might be a zero tolerance thing. Being attacked physically, in my opinion, should be a zero tolerance thing. If you can leave that relationship, if you can leave that situation, whatever it is, if it's actually physically dangerous, that should be a zero tolerance thing. If someone's not valuing you, if they're not adding value to your life, if they're not respecting you for the person that you are, it is absolutely okay to move on and put yourself first. I would highly encourage that. Move on and put yourself first generally. Now, moving on doesn't mean they're out of your life 100%. Moving on could be, you're still in my life, but here's my healthy boundaries. Here's what I'm okay with. Here's what I'm not okay with. Here's where you're allowed to be in my home or not. Here's when you can see me or not. Here's when you're allowed to be around my children or not. A lot of people we'll say, issues with their parents. Even as adults, they have issues with their parents. And maybe their parents were abusive when they were growing up, and now they don't want their parents around their own kids. So they might have to have a very clear, very strong, very healthy, not even a line in the sand, but a wall, very strong wall boundary between their own kids and their parents or their children's grandparents. That is completely okay. Maybe you don't want to kick them out of your life completely. That's fine. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. That's up to you. That's up to you and your family. Well, I mean, ultimately up to you and maybe your spouse you're with. I don't mean your family like your parents. That's up to you. So maybe you allow them in your life under certain conditions. That's up to you. This doesn't make you a bad person. This doesn't make you selfish to put yourself first. All that means is that you're loving yourself and that you are insisting on your own wellness. Just to put it very generally, you are insisting on your own wellness, and that doesn't make you selfish. It doesn't make you bad. That is okay. And in my opinion, it's a very good thing. You're only as good to other people as you are to yourself, as much as you've grown for yourself. And then you bring that to other people. You have to be the best version of you possibly can. And if people are doing certain things that don't cut it in your life, it's okay to move on or to create a very healthy boundary. And there might be extreme situations where you can't just drop everything and create a new boundary or drop everything and get out of that situation. Again, I'm talking about very generally. I'm not talking about extreme situations. I'm talking about very generally.